Range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a reason she's crying?
She's just upset.
All right, what are you upset about?
Just situation. I didn't expect this.
What's upsetting you about the situation?
There's a lot of things that I should have done and I didn't do when she first arrived at our home.
Court is going to sentence you to.
All right, folks, today's court hearing is a tough one. This defendant is facing trial for the abuse and death of her own child. And yeah, it's every bit as heartbreaking as it sounds. What's hard to understand is how someone can take a life and then sit there in tears like they're the victim. This is one of those cases that really sticks with you. What happened here is beyond tragic, and watching her break down in court just feels off. I'm curious what you all think as you watch this, because honestly, I'm having a hard time finding any sympathy. Let's get into it and see how this began.
All right, state.
Your Honor, as you know, this case involves the death of a child.
All right, everyone, please whisper.
A pretty horrific death of a child. And at this time, they are allegations, but due to the serious nature, we feel that $200,000 is appropriate. But that if the court is willing to lower them, then obviously full conditions. But for something involving something like this, I feel like anything lower than 150 even would be just way too low. It also is a little concerning that no one's willing to help her, because then how is she going to be supported in the community? That's just concerning to the state, Your Honor.
Well, just to clear it up, it's not no one. It's just people. Unfortunately, the people that are willing to help are just unable to do so financially. So.
All right, the court is going to deny the motion, and the court has had no evidence on what amount of bond that she is able to make. So at this time, the court will deny the motion. And counsel, if there's an issue, is your client in protective custody?
Yes, Your Honor, now.
All right, if there's an issue at the jail with her safety, just let the court know. But my understanding, she is in protective custody. Beyond that, that's all I can do. And counsel, I've always found them to be receptive if there's an issue with danger. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last we see of her in that moment, but don't go anywhere. I'm about to show you what happened 5 months later when she returned for sentencing. This kind of crime hits deep. There's no excuse for something like this. If the judge doesn't come down hard here, I don't even know what to say. You don't take an innocent life and expect a light sentence. Cases like this carry real weight, and the consequences should match. Let's jump back in and see how it unfolds.
Court is calling 2022 CR 11873, State of Texas versus Yvonne Monica Perez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Allie Jackson.
Defense.
Matthew Allen.
Are you Miss Perez?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Did you understand you're charged with assault, intentionally, knowingly, of serious bodily injury by omission with a child? Did you understand that's the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Perez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her rights to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 18 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
I need to pause for a second because the way she's crying is difficult to watch. It doesn't come across as grief or remorse. It feels more like fear. Every time prison is mentioned, the tears start up again. It's almost predictable. When she was out living her life, There were no tears. But now that she's facing time behind bars, suddenly she's overwhelmed. The plea deal on the table is 18 years. Honestly, for the loss of a child's life, that doesn't seem like enough to me. But what do you think? Should the judge accept it or push for more? Let's see what happens.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
State Exhibit 1.
No objections.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. Is there a reason she's crying?
She's just upset.
All right, what are you upset about?
Just situation. I didn't expect this.
What's upsetting you about the situation?
Try to do something kind and just,
It's just I don't know if the court has noticed, every time she's come in, she's been very,
Crying.
very emotional, Your Honor.
I apologize, Your Honor.
No, I'm just asking questions. All right, if we can go off the record. All right, State, are you asking to amend the stipulations?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objections.
All right, and then the court will review State's Exhibits 1 and attachments with the amended stipulations. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyone want to say why I should follow this plea bargain agreement?
I can speak briefly on that, Your Honor. I think for the stipulations, so the way that she came about, Ms. Pettis came about to have the child was kind of strange to begin with. She, in my opinion, I think saw these two children that were on the streets. Her and her partner tried to help take them in. And then obviously there was an incident that Ms. Pettis describes a week prior to this where, again, she should have taken the girl in for medical treatment immediately. And then obviously she fell from the stairs.
Let's backtrack a little
Okay.
bit. Because it says in the stipulations that there were two people outside of the store. She says she's being a good Samaritan. So she takes them both back to her apartment. And then she tells one of them, I can no longer keep you here. You need to leave. But I'll keep the complainant.
Yes, her and her partner. So her partner ended up, I believe, keeping the younger boy, and she kept the younger girl at the apartment. And then
And is this younger boy currently alive?
Yes,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
yes,
And where is he?
As CPS has removed him, he's with other family.
Okay.
the incident described that is the leads to this tragedy. Obviously, Yvonne describes it as she's playing. Obviously, the kid shouldn't be playing on the stairs. We know that. She hits her head and the back. She seems like she's okay as far as checking on her. She's eating, watching
So why would
TV.
she pinching her as a sign of as punishment? Because that's what it says in the steps that she would pinch her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
It wasn't like I'm pitching her, just kind of like a grab, like just
It says it
to
left
prompt
bruises.
her. I'm sorry.
It said it left bruises.
I'm not buying the backstory at all. The whole situation feels off. How do two kids end up in your care and one of them doesn't make out alive? That's not just some random accident. Now, she's sitting there looking devastated, but the truth is this happened while the child was in her custody. The tears don't change that. My heart goes out to that child more than anyone else in this courtroom. Personally, I think this calls for the maximum penalty, but that's just my take. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's keep going.
I didn't realize it was gonna leave a bruise. I didn't intentionally do it to like leave that bruise. The little girl, when my daughter was, when
And so I think she's describing as, yes, she again is admitting to that. It doesn't matter whether you think it's going to leave a bruise or not leave a bruise. I think we would agree. And then as far as her actions, she seemed like she was okay. And then the next morning, obviously she's not, and then drops her off at the hospital. And then obviously does another bad thing, just leaves her and then leaves. She does come back. She does sit down with the police. She does talk to him. tell them everything that's going on and what happened. Obviously, at that point, it's too late, but I can speak to Ms. Perez from the day I've been with her for 20 months or so, from the day I've met her until today. Every time I talk to her, she's upset, and it's not because of so much of her situations, because of what happened, and she knows that she did wrong. She knows she wishes she could go back in time and change all of that, and she says that every time I talk to her. And so,
Like maybe if somebody's offering you a child, maybe calling the police?
yes, going that far back, it's not one mistake. It's things that happen over and over. And again,
So was the child healthy when she received the child?
I don't,
Was the child healthy when you received the child?
The first one is Joel,
No, I'm talking
Oh.
about the child that is deceased.
I don't,
Was that child healthy when you received the child?
healthy in a sense, I mean, she was
Healthy in the
skinny,
sense that
she
she
was
had-
skinny,
Did
we
she have
fed
all her
her.
hair?
Did she have all her what? Her hair?
On her head?
Yes, Your Honor, I mean, only like patches, like not patches, but like her hair was thin. Her hair wasn't thick, it was thin. Her hair was thin. And she came when I picked her up when Cassandra told me to go, and when we went to go pick her up, she had like a dirty little outfit. I bought her clothes. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that I should have done and I didn't do when she first arrived at our home. I should have taken her to get a welfare check. I should have done, and I didn't. I just was
well,
trying to
and like Your Honor said,
help.
I mean, the initial thing would be to contact authorities to go through the proper channels. I think CPS was contacted prior to
They
this and made contact with Ms. Pettis, so they were aware of the situation, but again,
Aware of what situation?
that the girl was staying with Ms. Pettis. But
Was
again,
that before or after the child
before,
was taken to the hospital?
before, I believe.
So Child Protective Services was aware that somebody off the street gave her a child, and she picked up the phone and called Child Protective Services and said,
No,
I have
we-
this child?
No, Ms. Pettis didn't. They contacted her. So again, I agree with the court. She should have done a lot of different things.
Well, I
and
mean, I'm just unpacking things a little bit.
Yes.
So,
The mother has extensive history with CPS and had different children taken away, so I think CPS was checking into the whereabouts of Ronnie and Howell.
all right.
It was that.
So that's how CPS found out that the child was in her care,
Yes.
and CPS did nothing.
If CPS really missed warning signs here, that's deeply concerning. Yes, she's the one being sentenced, and rightfully so. But if the people whose job it is to protect children overlooked red flags, that's a serious issue too. Situations like this usually don't come out of nowhere. Somewhere along the line, something was ignored. Whether it was her, someone close to her, or a caseworker, there are bigger questions here. I can't shake the feeling that there's more beneath the surface. Tell me what you think so far, because this feels deeper than what we're hearing in court. Let's see what sentence she ends up with.
I mean, CPS workers sometimes, well, many CPS workers are overworked and underpaid, but I'm wondering why would a CPS worker, and this is just a side note, why a CPS worker would leave a child with somebody that a mother just gave to that's a complete stranger. I guess that's something else that needs to be addressed.
Yes, and like I said, the circumstance behind it are, just to put it, I guess, strange, and that's one of the things that I found strange as well, to, I guess, put it nicely. But
So why am I falling in this plea?
Your Honor, at this point, the state, after much back and forth, we recommended this plea due to what is actually being charged, and what we can prove. It becomes a question of whether or not we can prove that she did not seek adequate medical attention in terms of she has training as an LVN and attempted to keep an eye on the child at home, and it becomes whether or not we would be able to prove that she failed to do so due to how it is charged, Your Honor. And so at this point, we do feel 18 years for what she is charged with is appropriate.
All right, and does she have a license as an LVN? I'm assuming
She did in the past.
She didn't have, and then I needed to renew it
It's
because I
expired,
went,
is that right?
yes. And
Yes.
then I started going to school to EC. Oh, sorry.
that's okay. It's expired.
This is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. Court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with minors. There's to be,
Judge, did you say 8 or 18?
18. Yeah. Did I say 18?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
It's okay. Matt and I are
Yes,
this
all right.
morning.
18. All right, 18 years in the prison, credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with minors, and there's to be no employment in the future with minors or vulnerable persons. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
Not sentencing, we do have victim impact, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, whether you had your LVN license or not, I saw where you took your dog to the groomers. When a child is sick, you take a child to the doctor.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know why. Sometimes people have more love for their animals than they have for little children.
For a moment, I thought the judge said 8 years, and that really caught me off guard. It's 18, but even that feels light given how serious this case is. The prosecutor mentioned they could only prove so much, which makes you wonder what else might have happened that couldn't be established in court. And if CPS truly overlook warning signs, that needs to be addressed too. Systems meant to protect kids can't afford to let things slip like that. I'm surprised there wasn't more discussion around that. At the end of the day, 18 years for something this severe leaves a lot of people questioning whether justice feels complete. What do you think? Was the sentence fair or too lenient? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. I post every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.